never been a real big people person, and the city's full of people. So once things kind of hit a certain breaking point with me, I started to think about my options, and moving up here to the creek has always been a dream of mine and kind of a retirement goal. One day I'd be able to make it up here and try and make a bit of a retirement home and a life for myself. But as I near my 40s and well, things just haven't been so enjoyable as is, I thought, why not? There's nothing holding me back right now from being able to do this while I'm young, be able to get the work done, build the life I want to live, and still have time to enjoy it. I'm lucky enough to have this opportunity and ready to do it.
Welcome home.
Welcome home indeed. My great grandparents bought this place back in the 60s, built a house on it, and everything else that's here now. My great grandma was the last one to actually live up here. She fell asleep one night with a lit cigarette in her hand, and her and half the house was gone the next day. Ever since, this place has just kind of sat and rotted for the most part. Family comes up here for vacations and stuff, but the house is pretty much sat unused for quite a while now. And it wasn't until recent years that my dad just started to kind of get some stuff cleaned out. But I mean, it mostly just got used as storage and a little bit of sleeping area. But it needs a whole lot of work. They call it barely livable and think I'm crazy, but I'm ready for it. I think putting the work into it is going to be well worth it. And even in the state it's in, I gotta say, it's probably going to be an upgrade from my apartment. That place was something else. And this is mine. It's my home. So the whole property is about 11 acres. It stretches to the other side of the road and the creek and all that. It used to be a big mining area up here. There's still all kinds of pans and my grandpa's old creek dredge and everything else sitting around the property. We had a pretty bad wildfire a couple years back that burned up quite a bit of the mountain, which is sad, and it's definitely half of its former glory in terms of how much forest is here, but it's still beautiful. Grandpa used to spend a lot of time up here by himself when his health was still good, but other than that, it's pretty much sat unused. And it's pretty much the squirrels and the birds that live up here these days, and plenty of bugs. This is my dad. He's the one that helped me get up here and has taught me what there is to know about the property these days. Been a big help getting me both set up and unpacked. Moving sucks, and I'm really grateful for his help. And then there's this little monster. This is my best friend, love of my life, partner in crime, and a huge reason I found myself here. I had always promised her someday to get her a yard. I felt so bad keeping her inside of my apartments, even though we went to the dog park every day, took many walks throughout the day. She got to go outside anytime she wanted and haul me around, but I always felt so guilty and so bad for her. I made her a promise, and here we are. She's now 5 years old, and she's got the yard of her dreams. We got our first bit of sunshine today, so I thought we'd go ahead and do a little tour of the property. Emmy wants to go up here. This little clearing up here is pretty cool. It's got all these little manzanita trees coming up. This would be such a cool place to build, or even park a little trailer or something up here. This is our bridge coming into the property here. You can see the old sign was hanging here. I'm in the middle of redoing it right now. But we got the creek running through here. It goes all the way around the property's perimeter. So this is kind of the one easy way into the property at the moment. We've got all these really tall mountains back behind us, which is quite a hike. So all in all, it's 11 acres. Pretty nice size piece of land. The first structure you come across isn't much of a structure anymore. This is the old groundskeeper's cabin. As you can see, it's pretty broken down at this point. It's just kind of become a dumping ground, really. On the opposite side of the drive here is our natural spring that comes up through the mountainside here. This used to have a goldfish in it when we came out this way growing up. Not much living in it now other than some water bugs, but pretty cool. My dad and the neighbor got this gravity feed set up so it pumps out through this metal pipe that runs to that sprinkler right there. So when the spring's running real good, it'll be trickling out. And then there's a irrigation ditch that runs back into the garden over here. All these bare trees, these are all fruit trees. We got cherries and crab apples. I think there might have even been an apricot tree or something, but I gotta give them a little bit of love and care to get them back producing again. So that'll be a project for the spring here soon. This little staked out area is where we're putting the initial garden at. I got this first plot out here dug when I came out in January for my scouting trip and got some garlic and walking onions and shallots and stuff all planted. The garlic has been growing super good. This will be on a later video, but this is my little mushroom garden that I started over here. Got some wine caps, shiitakes, oysters. I've got more shiitakes on the way to kind of double up the logs there. And then we're going to be putting some chicken of the woods mushrooms back here where these new stumps are at and some of the bigger logs that recently got cut down. But beautiful little view of the creek right off of the garden, which is pretty awesome. This is usually the soundtrack of our living space, and I just love it. I like to get a hammock hung up in through here before too long. Got the old trailers out there. It's primarily what my grandpa lived in when he would come out here and hang out for months at a time. And then we got the compost pile that I just got started. So they were able to leave me a bunch of wood chips from when they were cutting down the trees to put the power lines through. So that kind of worked out well. And then I was able to use a bunch of them over there for the mushroom garden and the regular garden and that to keep it warm through the winter. Got the pastures out here. You can see a bunch of wood stacked up out there from when the fires came through. Kind of just really laid waste to this whole mountainside. We were very lucky to have anything standing after the fires. So we got wood just stacked up all around. Bunch of blackberry bushes out here. Way in the distance, you can possibly see the neighbors' houses out there. So that's kind of the closest neighbor I have to me other than that structure in the drive-through. So lots of land, pasture land out here to do a lot with. I would love to get a bunch of lavender going. I've got some started in the greenhouse already. They're pretty slow going, but it'd be great to get a whole field of it. I love lavender. So just a bunch of materials stacked up back here right now. This is our wood pile that I've been making my way through. I actually got quite a bit of it chopped up. I've decimated our chopping block with how much I've been doing. Been kind of getting some of this stocked up, but I have actually moved quite the bulk of it over to the house, so I have quick and easy access to it. Put this little temporary roof on it because of all the moisture we've been getting, and definitely need dry wood to keep warm. This is actually another upcoming project that I want to get going pretty quick, which is going to be a rabbit hutch. I want to definitely do a lot of work in here, getting it reinforced and insulated up and safe and secure, because I definitely want to start breeding rabbits in here. kind of have that be my first little experiment into livestock, and then hopefully chickens will be next on the list. The rest of the structure is the barn. It's currently used for like tool storage and stuff like that. There's a lot of cool stuff that I can bring into the house as kind of like little showpieces, sort of little antique museum. This is the old tractor, fired up a couple years ago. I'm gonna have to try and get that back into shape. This is where the master bedroom was. This is completely burned out inside. The fire started right here and basically toasted everything to about here real bad, but the rest of it's not terrible, but this whole half of the house just hasn't been lived in for a while, so it's bad. And I've been doing a lot of work to get the parts that are more structurally sound taken care of and cleaned up and more livable spaces. So definitely a lot of work going into that. One of the first spaces that I went ahead and started working on was this. This is the greenhouse, so to speak. So what I'm using as a greenhouse or a nursery for the moment. I've got some seedlings going.
This is pretty much what I had to start with, plus some cleaning. Well, quite a bit of cleaning, and it still looked like this.
So we're getting the shower and sink and stuff built back here. I've been starting to kind of somewhat patch some of these holes in the roof and everything else, because they're pretty much like this, if not worse, where all the drywall's fallen in. This will be the next section I gotta kind of clear up. Had a bat come flying out of there the other day, and I had this door open, so it almost got inside, which was real fun. So that's the creek. This is the project, and this is my life, I guess, from now on. It's going to be a whole lot of hard work, but it's worth it. I'm not only getting to build myself a life out here that I really enjoy, but picking up the family legacy again, carrying on what my great-grandfather envisioned for this place, to begin with. And it's pretty awesome. Hopefully I can make something really special for the future generations of our family and, have a great time living out the rest of my life. Well, I will be sure to keep updating you guys on the progress and sharing my projects as we go along. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and Emmy will show you the way out.